the truth.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. I am American. That's what I am. It's what I think and what I do. I am American. That's what I am. And I bleed red, white, and blue.
Testing. There you go. Okay, let's start this over again. I apologize. Hey, welcome to the Super Dave Show. Is that better? Oh, I did. Let me take care of that too. And that'll be done. So yes, they're both on now. Carl, they're both on now. So anyway, all right, I got everything squared away. Sorry about that. And thank you, Mr. Neely, for I didn't even realize that. So there you go. So, do you hear everything now? You should hear everything now. Okay, good. Alrighty. I want to go back to what I was talking about when you couldn't hear me, because I think it's important. we got this sham impeachment trial going on right now. And everybody knows it's sham. And now they're bringing up the Biden. Remember the Biden bus is going through Texas after he was done, and they were escorting him out. They weren't bugging him or anything like that. They were escorting him, and all of a sudden it's horrible. What about the truckers? What about the cars that got off the highways from these idiots on the left that attacked them, tore their cars up, burned them? They did all kinds of stuff. What about that stuff? What about all these nutcases on the left? Maxine Waters, Kamala Harris, all of them that incited the violence and said, we're not stopping. They need to keep going. In fact, it was Maxine Waters that turned around and said that you need to bother. If you see a Trump supporter or somebody in the administration, just go after them if they're eating or whatever. And they did it. So in many places, you saw the videos. If you didn't, then you live on another planet. People would be outside eating at an establishment, not bothering anybody, and the loons on the left would go in there and start bothering these people. How disgusting is that? Jim, you hear it now, though, right? Just making sure. I guess you are, because I get more. Oh, I was playing there a little bit ago. I don't know what happened, but anyway, back to what I was saying, though. That's where we are. So we have this sham impeachment trial, and you got these. It's not even a trial. Let's be honest about it. First off, even Justice Roberts, the most pathetic Supreme Court justice we've ever had, the chief Supreme Court justice, even he would not work with this impeachment because he knows it's illegal. It doesn't matter though. They just go ahead and they keep going. They just keep going. It's like, well, we don't care. And the guy who's running it, Leahy, anyway, he actually voted for impeachment before. How does that work? We are in America. Well, no, actually we're not. We're in China. This is the kind of garbage they do in China. Yeah. I bet Ann Esther would kick Maxine Waters' ass. But here we are. We got this sham impeachment. Patrick Leahy is the guy overseeing it. Does he get to vote too, by the way? They don't need it. And then what about these losers that voted? You go ahead and go with the impeachment. Lisa Murkowski, you can go. There's 6 of them. And shame on the Republican. Now let me tell you something. Let me tell you folks something that's going to freak you out. If you say I'm running away from the Republican Party, you are absolutely helping the establishment. Don't think you're not helping the establishment. You are. Because they know, and I guarantee this is true. It should be. It is now. Let me go to D Live real quick and see if it's on here real quick. I can tell. Let me go to D Live real quick and see. Streamer is offline. Well, you're right. It's offline. So I don't know what's going on here. Let me double check a couple things here and we'll get it squared away. Multi-streaming. It says it's streaming, sending data, but it's not working. So there you go. That's why. That's why it's not working on D Live. Well, shoot. You're right. It's not working there. It's definitely not working there. Because I'm looking at it and it tells me that it's sending data, but it's not working. So, where's my technical help, Nikki? I know you're there. It says it's sending them, but that's it. It's not working. So, ladies and gentlemen, just give me a minute here. We got people who want to watch the show and something isn't working right. So, I guess I need to go to D Live itself and fix something. I don't know. I really don't know. Let me let me see here real quick. Just give me 1 second here, and I hope it doesn't screw everything up on DLive. Let me see. Let's go here, and it says it's offline. Why would it be offline? Why would it be offline, Nikki? You're the person that is good at this stuff. It says it's offline. Why is it offline? Ladies and gentlemen, just give me a minute here. We'll find out why things aren't working like it should. So, where's Nikki? Nikki, help me. Oh, boy. Well, I can at least, I'll tell you what, I'll do my best to concentrate. That's hard to do. To concentrate while we're trying to, don't want that, while we're trying to fix this. So, sorry about that, Chief. We're doing our best here. Yeah, I see where it's not online. I really do. It says sending data, but I'm not sure what you do with that. And I'm waiting for Nikki has a child and maybe taken her child to school. That's all I can tell you. So doing my best here, ladies and gentlemen. Not really sure why it's offline, but you're right. It says it's offline. So tell you what, you just have to deal with it for a little bit here. Watch me on Facebook today. How's that? Watch me on Facebook anyway. And when Nikki comes back, maybe she can help me because she's probably around. So Nikki, if you're around, help me out. But for some reason, DLive isn't working. When I press it, I look at it, just says sending data. That's all it says. So maybe let me go back and try this. That didn't work. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, we'll do our best without it. That's all I can say. Not really sure. Let me see. Close. Nope. Okay, let me do one more thing here. Just bear with me a second, folks. Oh, well. We're just going to have to do our best without it today. That's all. Anyway, I want to go back to the impeachment thing. It's such a joke. It really is a joke. And we are letting the criminals run the show. You know, we got 6 Republicans. Oh, I know where it was. I'm sorry. Let me tell you why the Republicans are fine with you abandoning the party. They know that they have enough establishment people to do something. They know that. So every damn one of those people that voted to impeach Trump, this is why it's so important, every damn one of those people that voted to impeach Trump will get elected again. Because you won't be able to vote. You won't be able to vote for somebody else because you're going to get pissed off and you're going to run off. This is the danger, and this is why we started Real Republicans. Because getting someone to run is not easy. I mean, how many people watching right now are going to I'll run, not a problem. Or that you're going to get another establishment person to run. That's another problem we have. So no matter what, as much as I can't stand what the established Republican Party is doing, just remember we are real Republicans, and that we are the ones that are going to have to regroup. Look, we haven't had a hold of this party for a long time. And some of us have tried by working within the party, but this is by far the best way. We are still Republicans. We still run as Republicans, but we run and beat the established Republicans. That's how it works. We unite. But if we don't unite, and I know we go through this every day, but if we don't unite, our asses are going to get kicked so bad, it's not even funny. And we're going to have the same people up there. The very people that you're complained about. Oh, excuse me, the very people you're complaining about are going to be reelected, and they're going to get more. So I think, there's one thing about my personality that I do like. When I get really pissed off, I come back with a vengeance. And every single person here needs to get off their collected tails and get involved in every facet there is. Otherwise, we're just a bunch of spectators. I notice on Real Republicans, I don't even know who these people are. I mean, they got in and whatever, and they don't want to do a damn thing except get on there and exchange headlines. That's all they want to do. That's our problem. You got too many damn people that want to play games. I get sick of it. Dino, you're working hard where you are. I'm working hard where I am. There's a few of us are working hard. The rest are the people, the political welfare people. Let me go ahead and put this on. This is cool, man. Oh, this is unfair. When the hell are you going to get pissed off? When the hell are you going to get so mad? It's like, guys, we got to do something. Because until you do, nothing's going to change. Not a thing. Don't tell me you're mad when you don't do anything. People that are really mad do things. Now, the first thing you can't do is, you can throw a fit and all that stuff, but what is it about Republicans, about conservatives, about us, that we just want to talk about it? That's all we do. And I don't mean all of us, but there's some of us that are just living. And we're going, we got to do something, and we're doing what we can. And then I get to look and I see that crap. I'll be honest with you. It is, I think one of the reasons I want to get rid of a lot of those people is because they frustrate me when I see them on there. Dino, you're singing my song. Do you know when change happens? When you get mad enough. But you got to do something. You can't just say, well, as I've said a million times, we got to do something. So no, not we. Oh boy, I screwed that up. What they say is somebody's got to do something. When in reality, they're missing that famous word, someone else needs to do something. And if that's who you are, and you make excuses, I'll tell you what, I'm sick to death of people being real Republicans and playing games on there and not going to the website, realrepublicans.net, and saying, you know what, I wouldn't have as much issue with it if they did that. At least they were doing something. But they don't even want to go to Real Republicans and say, look, I'll give $10, $20 a month. I'll do this. And I am to a point, and tell me what you think. And Dino, I know you're just as pissed off as I am, because we are doing something. But when do you get to a point you go, and I'm going to announce it on there, it's like, if I don't see you actually doing something where you can contribute, people find excuses not to do it. When I don't, if I don't actually see you doing something, we're just get rid of you. Well, we don't want to be part of you anyway. It's okay. Because the doers, yesterday I remember it was someone else who was on here saying, it's the non-doers. You're right. The non-doers are the ones causing the problems. Oh, I don't know about that. Dino says, I think I'm more pissed off than you. No, you're not. Why do you think, really, I have said, and I can feel it right now. I didn't take my blood pressure medicine this morning. I'm dead serious. I haven't taken it. And I can feel it in my body how literally pissed off I am. Because I see this and then I get grief for it. I get grief. It's like, well, how come you didn't okay that? Here's something else too for you real Republicans that don't do a damn thing except play those games. It takes my time and the other administrators' time to okay the request, member request. That's why some people get mad. They go, well, I told a bunch of people about you. Well, first of all, I love it when the ones that tell you don't do anything either. They just want other people to be in it. It's not about the numbers. I would rather have 1/3 of the people there who do something. I mean, 1/3 of the people on Real Republicans that do something than what's there right now. It really is frustrating. It really is. And you know, I feel like I'm spanking the children or something like that. But it just, when you want to get something done and you watch this bizarre bullshit that's going on. It is crazy. Well, and those are good things to do. And those are the plans. But, you know, no, you're fine. You're fine. I appreciate you adding it. I really do. But here's my issue with what you just said. I'm just to a point. I believe if you put your money where your mouth is, you're more likely to do something. Otherwise, what is this free crap with conservatives? I mean, really, what is it? I want to know what it is. You know, that's it. Okay, right now is when we can really be padding our coffers, you know, with thousands of people put money in every single month. Every month. 10 here, 20 here, 30 here, whatever you're willing to do. Whatever your freedom means to you. You know, if you are a zero person, to me that means your freedom means nothing to you. Because I will tell you right now, look, I watch, you know, Doc Neely's here. Doc Neely worked his tail off as a doctor. I mean, the man worked his whole life. He saved everything he should. He's on the school board. We can't get people on the school board. He's a physician. He said, I'm going to take time to be on the school board. He did that. Then he ran for state rep. As a physician. Because he felt that was the right thing to do. So here he is as a physician, and there are more than him. There are 2 other physicians, I believe. I don't know what it is now. But there were other physicians, but people who said, I'm taking my time to do this. And he's there for 8 years. He's watched the garbage that's happened. And I hope I'm speaking correctly here, Jim. Watch the garbage that's happened. But he also watches the people do nothing. But he's nicer than I am. He won't say anything. It's like, yeah, you know, and we've talked about, if more people did things, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. And when he ran for election, luckily in his area, he didn't have to work quite as hard because people knew him as a physician and as a good man. They knew that. But in so many different areas, you know, we got people, all these retired people, all these people who early retirement, all that stuff. People who really, I mean, even if you have families, you know, my son has a family. He runs a pachyderm club. He does other things. He's in the American Legion. You know, they do things like that. People are more interested in what the hell's on TV than they are what's going on. Yeah, or they'll watch the impeachment trial and they say, oh, this is really ridiculous. Ronnie says, I think I finally come upon why people do nothing. It's called learned indifference. When a person finds himself in a position that he knows will result in personal pain or harm, from experience he has learned that there is absolutely nothing he can do about approaching harm. All that is left for him is to remain docile and await the inevitable consequence. Think about that, what he just said. So you're going to sit, you know, I'm going to add a word in there. So you're going to sit around and be a victim? Is that what this is all about? I'm going to sit around and be a victim. That's going to be better. I don't think so. I really don't think so. The problem we have right now is that we have so many people. I was really I gotta tell you, I really thought Trump did a great job of waking people up. But he didn't slap you hard enough. Oh, he woke you up and you're going, yeah, that was bad. Tell you what, for what we're going to do, we're going to make this really great. We're going to have a Trump parade. I got to tell you where I'm going with this. We're going to have a Trump parade. And we're going to put our flags on there and we're going to go Trump and that's it. And it reminds me of so many other things. When you're done with the parade, you go eat and you go back to normal. While you're expecting Donald Trump to get it all done. Why couldn't Trump get more done? I used to get so mad at people. They go, well, he didn't do this. Wait a minute. We have two other branches of government called the judicial and the legislative, for those of you who don't know much about civics. The legislative one is the one that we are responsible for. There's two things in legislative that I would like to see. One of them, I wish we would forget about the amendment, with the 18th Amendment, whatever it is, where we elect senators. We should never be electing senators. That is not how the founders wanted it to be. And a lot of people don't realize that. No, it's the state legislatures that appointed them. That's the way it should be. And if you think differently, convince me why. Please convince me why. Because I'll laugh at you. I'm going to say no. Because that's the way. Because right now the states really don't have any rights. Because we have two senators in this state here, in Missouri. Not where you are. Oh, well, Dino's got Toomey in his state. There you go. And hey, Dino, do you think for 1 second that Toomey would have been appointed by the Senate? 17th Amendment. Thank you. Dino, do you think Toomey would be appointed by the Senate? Hell no. The idiot voters, and let's be honest about this, not just the voters, but the cheaters who caused all this stuff have everything to do with it. You know, there's one thing about it. If you have the legislative body, you know, say the Senate or whatever, you have legislative bodies that appoint, I think it's House of Representatives that do it, but that appoint these people, you would be so much better off than voting. I call them super congressmen. That's not the way our country was designed. That's the one amendment I think, without a doubt, should be changed. Guess who doesn't? I asked Blunt about this when I interviewed him. He goes, there's something wrong with this 17th Amendment. Thank you for correcting me, Ronnie. Nothing wrong with it. Why? So he can be there forever? So we can have all these senators there forever? No, that's not how it should work. But the other one is that we just can't sit there. You know what, Dino? I don't think we're mad enough. I really don't think we're mad enough. If we were mad enough, people would say, what can I do? And my experience is, they go hide. I've given a scenario already. You know, you got the new baby, and everybody says, "Oh, I can't wait. I'll be glad to help you babysit after you have the baby." And after you have the baby, everybody's gone. You got to go to grandma and grandpa. Didn't work at my house because my son had it. Was like, don't get used to this. I've already gone through mine. It's, you know, you got friends, and I love my grandkids, but I am not going to spend every weekend babysit my grandkids so you can go out. That's not going to happen. I like my weekends too. Some people don't agree with that. Oh well. But back to what I just said though. Until we're really pissed off at them, it's not going to happen. But go to RealRepublicans.net. I don't see how mad people really are. Because I really am wondering. I really am wondering. Why is this offline? This is driving me crazy. Nikki, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Stream channel. Not sure. They didn't knock me off, I don't think. I don't think so. Well, when she comes on, we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. I don't want to start the streaming again or whatever. Oh, well. You see me on Facebook. They'll send me the other ones. You just have to. We'll figure something out. That's for sure. Can't even see me on my website now too. So there you go. Really. You're right. The 17th Amendment did nothing to make senators responsive to the will of the people. It did create a massive opportunity for bribery, campaign fund fraud, and eager to be responsive to lobbyists and campaign contributions, because that is what it's all about. 17th Amendment is probably the worst, is one of the worst amendments we have up there, without a doubt. And do you hear people, you hear people like myself and others talk about it, but you don't hear anybody else. You know, I would love, wouldn't you just love for, to have a lie detector test? You know, I remember watching an episode of Barney Miller. Was it Barney Miller? No, My Favorite Martian. And if you remember, for you old farts there, if you remember, Uncle Martin could read minds. So he gave that ability to Tim. So Tim could read people's minds, but when it came to a politician, he couldn't do it. And Martin said, that's impossible. You can't get honesty from a politician. At least you can't get it to register. And that's pretty much what it amounts to. So when these people look at you and tell you something, you got to go by their behavior. Dr. Neely told me, I remember when I asked him, when I interviewed him the first time, and I said, what can you tell me about Dr. Neely? He said, he's about yourself, and he said, why don't you go to the Missouri.gov page and see what I've done. Look at the legislation I've pushed or been a part of. That's what you do. And everybody else just says, well, let me tell you what I want you to know. Like I said, in the next election, how many people, and by the way, Jim, I don't know if you heard, Mary Elizabeth Coleman has decided not to run for auditor. She's going to run for a state senate. Yes, she's going to run for state senate. So it's a shame. And that's just it. We have people running for senate, and 3 out of 4 of them, I wouldn't even begin, I think it may be 5, I wouldn't even begin to vote for any of them. I wouldn't. We put the same people in all the time anyway. What's the difference? And honestly, as you people know, and Justin and Paul, the very good, and I know Penny was here yesterday, the very good reps that have done a great job and like what they were doing, really didn't want to be a senator, whatever. I mean, that's, a senator is different than a representative. It's just different. And some people are good at some of the others. I think Jim would agree that Mike Moon is probably a much better senator than he is a rep. Because the Senate is slower moving. And it's almost like the conscience. But right now, what do we have? We have a bunch of leftist senators that are allowing the federal government to run everything. And that's why, there are groups out there that look at legislation. And the groups that look at legislation are the first ones to say that they, how do I put this? They're the first ones to say that they believe that if you work hard on the legislative level and you go there and you talk to all the different reps, that's great. But what we tend to forget, without a doubt, what we tend to forget, I want to read that in a second there, is that it's the people that make the decisions. If you put the right people in to make the decisions, you don't have to work as hard at everything else. Right now, and I'll give you a very low-level example. In Jefferson County, we elect 5 members of the health board. Now, you may be thinking, well, health board, no big deal. That health board is doing everything it can to make, they've done their best, and we have fought them tooth and nail, but they have done everything they can to make the lives of the business owners devastating. And we have held them from doing it. In St. Louis County, they haven't been that lucky. in St. Louis County. Is it last Thursday? Wendy and I went to our favorite watering hole where we get margaritas, and you're welcome to join us if you're there. And so anyway, we walk in, and there was 2 other people in there. This man, we talked to him before they had the last shutdown. He told me, he says, yes, he just bought the place. He says, it's really difficult to stay open. He says, I have a carry-out business. He goes, it's very difficult. The bar makes a lot of money because we sit in the bar. He said, it's very difficult. But he said, we do have money stashed to the side from our family, but he says it's really difficult. So they finally allowed them to open again, but people are afraid to go. And you know why? Because when you go in St. Louis County, they have a clipboard there with a list, and you're supposed to give them your name and phone number because the county wants it. Now, if anyone knows me very well, I'm not compliant to any of that crap. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, and they knew me, and they know me well enough, don't, because I walk in without a mask. You're supposed to put the mask on as soon as you enter the door, go in the bar, and once you sit down, then you take the mask off. I don't do any of that stuff. I just walk in. If they don't want me there, I walk out. That's just how it is. And it's not really their fault. But, you know, they're between a rock and a hard place, so we go there, but he obliges by what I do. Nobody says anything. It's right around the corner anyway. It's not a big deal. But people are so easily compliant. You know, Rodney, have you ever seen people so compliant in your life? Did you really ever believe people would be that compliant? I never did. It's clear that the first goal of the political elites in both parties is to gain and keep. That's why I'm telling people, I understand why you want to abandon the Republican Party. I get it. But guess what? That helps the left. Well, who cares? They act like it. And it helps the establishment. But if we got off our collective asses and did everything we could to get the right people in charge, to make the right decisions, to slam this stuff down, this would be a no-brainer. This would be a no-brainer. But we don't have it. Even in our own state, the state of Missouri stupidly elected a guy named Mike Parson. And you get Republicans go, oh, thank you so much for not closing us down again. Why did you close us down to begin with? Why are you allowing these counties and these cities, these municipalities to go ahead and take food out of the owners, the business owners' mouths, out of the people that work there? Why are you lying to do that? I don't know. I don't get it. And I'm pretty damn sure, if he's still here, I'm pretty damn sure there would have been no shutdown. There would have been, hey, look, there's nothing wrong here. You know, if you want to wear a mask, go ahead, but the requirement isn't necessary. Well, Ronnie, I'm going to disagree with you on one. The sad truth is the best man or woman is never on the ballot. Well, every once in a while there is. I don't like absolutes never and always. But every once in a while there is. And the reason I say this is because I know of some really good people on the ballot. But see, here's the problem. And this is why you Republicans better start paying attention, getting involved, and that's it. The good ones don't sell themselves. The good ones don't go to the lobbyists. And by the way, this is how it works. Ronnie White wants to run for state rep. If they know Ronnie White, well, that may be a problem because they know he's not a guy who's going to sell himself. Same as me. We don't sell ourselves. But there's people out there who say they aren't. Not many people with the dedication and integrity of myself and Ronnie and a few others. I'm not saying you guys aren't, but I mean, I'm just starting there. It's not going to be on D-Live. It's not going to be on D-Live today. I can't do it while I'm doing the show. So I have no idea why it didn't go on. So I should have checked it. It gives me something else to check when I go. But I've never had that happen before. So anyway, you're on here. Just watch it on here. So anyway, back to what I said. So you get mad and you allow the left to run the show. I'm mad. I'm going to leave the Republican Party. I understand why. But it's like doing something stupid without realizing what the results are. Because when you do, I guarantee you, I know this for a fact, and anybody watching right now, you tell me if you think I'm right. There are plenty of people out there who are going to go ahead and continue to vote for the established Republicans, and you won't have it. It's like the people who vote Libertarian. You know, we get mad at them, but they're voting something that's not going to happen. That's it. Yeah, people always vote for the name they recognize because the money backs a particular candidate said. Well, and that's just it. But you know what? That's our fault. That really is our fault. Okay, so let's say Jason wants to run for office. Jason, are you independently rich? Because that's really what it's got to be, because everyone else just says, well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to watch it. I'll vote for you. That's the most I'll do. I'll vote for you. And if that's the most you do for somebody, you have a pretty weak degree of integrity in my book. Because it's like, wait a minute. I don't like these thieves. I don't want a Roy Blunt or whoever in there. I don't want them to make it. So somebody with integrity, say Jason says, I'd love to run. But I don't have millions of dollars. I don't have all those connections. And we the people can make such a difference. It's easy. Then you go to Jason. Jason, would you take your time and run for office? We'll do everything we can to help you through this. And here's another thing, and I've done this in some of this little events that I've done. I've asked people, hey, I pick somebody out of a crowd and I say, can you run for Congress and not work for 6 months and not get an income? You're the one everybody likes and wants. You're the one with the integrity. Can you do that? And they go, no. Well, the election laws make it impossible for that person to be elected. And you go, why? Well, it's easy. Because if I was to help Jason, or you were to help Jason, that would be going against election laws. Or if we said, look, $3,000 a month is going to go to Jason so he can pay his bills throughout the process, whatever it is, that's against election laws. You can't do that. And people go, well, I don't think well, wait a minute. You don't think your money should be there to make sure he can pay his bills? Well, yeah, but he may use it a different way. And if he does, he's not your guy. But the point is that he wants to run, and he's really the best guy for the job, and he can't afford to go 6 months without money. Because trust me on this, 6 months is nothing for a congressional spot. Now you're scratching your head, you're going, wait a minute, but why would I give money? Because of the fact you're asking someone to stop his life. Jason's got kids, he's going to see his kids a hell of a lot less. He's not going to go to their baseball games, all that stuff. He's making the sacrifice of a lifetime. But he wants to go there for the right reasons. Now, in the meantime, his opponent is the incumbent. So let's say Jason's run for Congress. The opponent's making $170,000, $180,000, whatever they make right now, a year. He goes wherever he wants. He's still making money, and you're paying him. So what the hell's the difference? The election laws are so pathetic sometimes because we screw ourselves in the process. My friend Ronnie White, man of integrity, the whole thing. He's retired now. He might be able to do it. But my point is that we screw ourselves in the long run. I've always been known for looking at the big picture. And that's why I came up with Real Republicans, because we are not looking at the big picture when you just say, well, I'll take care of it when it comes up. No, you won't. Right now, we could be doing so much. I'm telling you, if you're someone that's on the Real Republican page, and I don't see your name on the contributors, you might be gone. And you may not like it, but I don't give a damn because I get sick to death of people who aren't going to do anything. Go to realrepublicans.net. Show that you mean it. Get in there and give your name. Give it in there and just say, hey, so much a month. And I hate this part of it, but you know what? You know what I hate more than anything? I really don't like asking for money because it's not for me. Number one, if it's for me, it's really difficult. This is for, and I don't get a damn thing. And the other people that are involved don't get a damn thing. Because we all have, the ones that are working hard at it, all have something in common. We want the leadership that we deserve. Right now, we're getting the leadership we deserve. We are. Because if Jason runs, you go, no, you can't do that, or anybody runs. But you're right about one thing, Ronnie. It sure is hard. I'll put it this way. It sure is hard as hell to find a good candidate on the primary ballot. But the primary, we can't even get Republicans to show up for the primary ballot. For the primary. And then when they do, the lame asses go to the general election, they go, wow, this sucks. Look who's left. You know, it's like going, you have this great steak, you have this great dinner coming up, and you got T-bone, you got, all the great foods that you want. And you go, you guys go ahead and eat, and I'll have the leftovers. That's exactly what you're doing when you don't show up. Voting for these sellout Republicans over and over is as form as it. But Jason, it doesn't cost them anything then. See, that's just it. Or sometimes they'll give $20 or something like that. And I'm not saying give, you got free money coming. A lot of you people, especially the people on pension and retired, all that stuff, you got all kinds of free money coming your way. I'm sorry, that would be your grandchild's credit card. And you're not doing anything to change it? I really care about this. I want to change it. I don't like what they're doing up in D.C. What are you doing about it? I'm bitching more than he is. I'm sending stuff back and forth, and that's it. Oh, I'm on a roll today, but I get, honestly, I don't know if he's still there, but Dino's still there. Couldn't think of his name. I don't know if Dino's still there, but I'll tell you what, it really does get old because you have these, you've got a train wreck in front of you, and you just turn your head and don't look. Here's one for you. Right now, I want every person watching this show right now to think of the two towers in New York City on 9/11 and look at the devastation it's caused. And what do? Somebody needs to do something. I'm going back. It didn't bother me. I believe wholeheartedly that every day, if whatever Republicans had a network, I think every day we should show the devastation that's being done by the globalist. I often wonder who was really in on 9/11. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but I often wonder. And honestly, if you are so naive to think it was just those hijackers and that was it, think again. Think of all the people today, right now, in Congress and the Senate and the deep state who are involved with China. No, let me give you the correct name there. Communist China. If you notice, we really don't know much about the Chinese. They're the communist Chinese. Right now, we are getting closer to it. We can't even, on Facebook, we can't even say things on Facebook. There's those, whatever happened to free speech? We don't have free speech anymore. We got controlled speech. That's what they do in China, in communist China. That's what they do in all these other countries that we don't want to be like. That's what they do. Why are the people from those countries coming here? Why are the people from those communist countries that finally got here Devastated right now. I talked to many people on January 6th, which was the day, that famous day that the Democrats are having, that are really doing things with it, that you people obviously, whatever. And I talked to so many people from the CCP, and that's the Chinese communists, the ones that got away. And they were saying, don't do this, don't do, you talk about the ones that are most devastated? I would have to tell you, they were the most devastated. Do you know how many of those people were in tears when they found out what happened? I'm on DLive normally, so stop being an old lady. Stop being an old man. Free speech is why I watch on DLive. I can't help it. It's not working today. I'll fix it. I'll fix it for the next time. Good God. Can't win. I already told you. I went to it. Didn't come up. Nothing I can do. When you're doing a show, it's really difficult to fix certain things, especially something like that. So deal with it. My goodness. Face community standards. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. The community standards. Yeah, the community standards, it's okay for an Antifa person or a BLM person to get there and threaten people's lives and do that stuff. One time I was joking about, let's go to, when we go to D.C., let's grab Mitt Romney and throw him in the pond and see if he can swim. And next thing you know, I'm on Facebook, in Facebook jail for 3 days. That's where I am. Can't believe it. But it's okay for a leftist. And now people go, that's wrong. I'm mad at Facebook. What are you going to do about it? Right now, when you don't get involved in things, you're letting them win. Every day I do this, and I'm going to do it again because it's the most important thing that I say every day. The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. When you leave the Republican Party, I get it. Be smart and say, you know what? We got to dump their asses. Right now, that's the best venue we have, whether you like it or not. And don't forget, you may not like it, but don't forget, it's them who want you to leave. If you think really, first of all, you don't give us money anyway. But if you really believe for 1 second that they really give a damn about you, you're wrong. Now what do you do about it? It's not their party. There were 75 million people who voted for him, and most of them were Republicans. It's our party. There were a few. And who was it? It was the establishment Republicans that voted against Donald Trump. The establishment did that. It's so frustrating to watch the establishment win. And when people don't get involved, that's why I get so frustrated. It's like, one of the issues I've always had in my life is trying to understand why people don't see certain things. And what I mean by that is that when you know there's a fire and people can't see it or do anything about it, they stand by and watch. How many times have you seen the video of a bus driver on a public, bus transportation system, and somebody gets on the bus and starts beating the hell, just walks up there and starts beating the driver or beating somebody on the bus? 20 people in there, one person goes in there and starts doing it. And what happens? This is exactly what happens with this. Exactly. Everybody gets off the bus or they just wait until you're done. That's what they do. That's exactly what we're doing. 9/11 happened. Oh well. We'll rebuild. No big deal. I want to know who did it. And you know what? I just don't want to know that. I want to know who did it. And I don't necessarily want to know it just from the liars in charge. Why is it, this is something of 9/11 and the rest of it. Why is it that we say, I don't believe any of those damn politicians. And when they come out with things, you believe them. Look at COVID. COVID is the biggest farce ever pulled on the American people. Ever. And a lot of people haven't even figured that out yet. I know most of the people around me have, but a lot of people haven't. But a lot of the people even around me that figured it out, they go to the stores because the store says wear a mask. And they do whatever they're told. Now, I understand it's theirs, but they put it up there. And I keep telling people they put it up there because of insurance regulations, whatever it is. Because the insurance industry runs things too. Corporate America runs our country. Make no mistake about that. They run our country. Yeah, I want to take a break in a minute here. What I'm going to try to accomplish is see if I can figure out while we're playing top of the hour song, try to accomplish on why DLive isn't working. But that just do what I can. I don't think there's much I can do while the show's going on. So, but we will find out. We will find out. All right. While in D.C., a Chinese lady that has been in the U.S. since 1973 came up to us and told us we were losing our country. It came from a person who knows what it looks like. Exactly. Ask the people in Hong Kong. Ask the people who experienced freedom and then went to communism. Ask the people that went from communism and experienced freedom. You're right, Charlie. It was sickening, wasn't it? It really was, to watch the things that have happened. It really is. And if I don't know about you, but for me, it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And Charlie is part of the answer. Charlie got involved. Charlie, Charlie, one thing, as we get older, and Ronnie, you understand, as some of the older folks here, you've seen what's gone on. I think what happens after you hit a certain age, you start being a whole lot more realist than you were before. I've always been a very positive person. I always try to look at the silver lining. I look for those things, but unfortunately, that when you get older, it's not that you don't do that, but you start become really kind of upset by the people who stand by and watch all this stuff happen. Because frankly, that's exactly what happens. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and take a break here in a minute. Let me see. I'm just going to play my theme song here, I guess. I'll do that. I guess, you know why? Because I want people to stand up. I want people to stand up and be counted and do what they should be doing instead of just sitting on the side watching. Because when you're sitting on the side doing nothing, you're not helping anybody. So, all right, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'll be back in a few. You're listening to The Super Dave Show.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Don't label us left or right.
The republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't label us left or right. Our American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. American, that's what I am, it's what I think and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. not about party, it's about what's right. Our American. Taking back our country, come and join the fight. Our American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising 'cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours in sight. I am American. That's what I am. It's what I say and what I do. I am American. That's what I am. And I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I am American. That's what I am. It's what I say and what I do. I am American. That's what I am. And I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed red, white, and blue.
Alrighty, we're back here at Super Dave Show. I couldn't resolve that issue. I'll just have to wait till next time I'm on. So I'll fix that before the next show. Alrighty, we're back here at Super Dave Show. I like what you're saying here, Ronnie. Republicans change their minds. If any Republicans change their minds during the trial, if you feel that you have no authority, you can't go on and say, well, we have no authority. But I guess I'll go ahead and convict anyway, Hawley said, according to The Hill. I'd be surprised if many or any of those people change their minds on the underlying question. And you know what? Here's the problem. What happens, and Ronnie, I think you'd agree with me. Republicans are sitting on the side, I'm talking about the voters sitting on the side saying, well, there's not enough anyway. They just discount it. This is one of the most dangerous things we're doing ever in the history of our country. And they discount it. And not only that, but you are allowing a bunch of loser Republicans, you are allowing a bunch of loser Democrats to have this farce, and you sit by and do nothing. I am livid about this. This should never be here. The people that should be on trial should be Maxine Waters, Kamala Harris, all these people should be on trial. We have the Bidens. We have the Bidens who are guilty of treason, who are working with the enemy. They're colluding with the enemy. We allow this to happen, and we're not pissed off. Pissed off doesn't stop until you do something. Anybody can say, oh, I don't like what's going on. But what are you going to do about it? That is the whole point. And I know some people that, they make, the excuses that I hear every day are so disgusting. So disgusting. And I just, I'm looking right now at real Republicans. And I get a note here and it says, somebody wants to put a post on there. And right now we approve the post. I don't know who the guy is. I mean, obviously, whatever. Never done anything, never asked to do anything, but they spend all their time pushing posts. That's what we do. I'm so mad I'm going to post something. somebody breaks in your house and steals your stuff, what are you gonna do? Run to Facebook and post it and say, are you gonna do anything? I'm gonna go to Facebook and post something. You gotta get really mad. You just have to. If you don't get mad, then it's shame on you. You deserve everything going your way. And frankly, I have to be honest with you. We're getting everything we deserve right now. We are getting everything we deserve. Because we aren't doing what we can be doing. I am no fun to listen to some days, and I get it. Because I'm pounding us so hard. But I'm pounding us because I think that it's time to stop the rhetoric. It's time to stop, well, this is going on, that's going on, this is going on. Are you mad yet? No. If my colleagues on this side of the chamber actually think that President Trump committed a criminal offense after he's out of office, you go and arrest him. So there is no opportunity where the President of the United States can run rampant in January at the end of his term and just go away scot-free. The Department of Justice does know what to do with such people. The point is that there is nothing he did illegal. But apparently, we're just going to sit by and watch. You know what? One of the problems I have with doing this show sometimes is I get so frustrated. I really do. I get so frustrated because I want so much for things to be different. And I just, the inaction, I'm telling you, I can imagine people like me back in Germany when people stood by, did nothing. And you saw what happened in Germany. We're there, folks. We're there. History is there. Look at it front and center. We're there. And you sit by and do nothing. Not you, but the people sit by and do nothing. You know, we allow the media. Here's what we have allowed to do. This is why I can't handle it. All right, who do we have here? We have a jokester, I guess. I don't know, and I don't really care. But we have allowed, well, let me see. We got Rashim here. I think I know who it is now. Let's see something here real quick. Because, you know, this is funny, Rashim, huh? Oh, there you go. He's a 5th Ward Alderman, Ferguson Commissioner, Democrat State Rep. So, Rashim, I got a question to ask you. You're welcome to call in at any time, by the way. This is funny, Rick. You're welcome to call in any time. Anytime. Are you okay? Are you okay with the communists taking over our country, or do you just don't see that? Do you really believe that's happening, or you just think, well, we need to give everything to everybody else? Do you like what you do? You're a state rep. You know, you're welcome to come on a show anytime. The number's right there. I welcome your call anytime. And I will gladly have a conversation with you. Not a problem. But are you just as unhappy, Rashim? Are you just as unhappy with with Kamala Harris, Corinne Bush, which you should know real well, all the others, Maxine Waters, how they truly incited violence? Are you okay with all the violence that happened in the city of St. Louis by BLM? Are you okay with that? Are you okay with the violence that they've caused in so many cities and ruined this and just trash? Are you okay with that? Let's see how funny that is. I want to know how that's really, you know, you're laughing. That's funny. You know, of all things, you're a state rep. And this is what you do? See, my friends, we have a state rep. He's probably been watching the show anyway. We got a state rep here who thinks this is all funny. You know what, though? I got to agree with him on one thing. You know what's really funny but not funny at the same time? That the Trump people aren't pissed off enough. And you are allowing people like Rashim and others to run the show. Oh, they're the minority, but make no mistake about it, they are not the minority in the state house. Just because those people, and Rashim would have to agree with this if he's being honest, he knows as well as I do, there's a lot of people in that have an R next to their name in the state house. In the state house who agree with them. They have an R, but they agree with them. Like, yeah, whatever. Those pain in the ass Republicans, most of them are progressive because that's what Rashim is. See, so while he's laughing at you, he's right. He's laughing at you because you're sitting with your hands folded and say, hey, I'm pissed. Somebody else do something. And guess what? Rashim is doing something with all the cohorts. That's what he's doing. BLM, look, I'll tell you what right now. You may not like BLM. You may not like Antifa. They're doing something. They got the job done. Well, I don't want to do it that way. No, you don't want to do anything. That's why I get so devastated. And that's why Rashim's laughing. He's laughing at you because you're on the side just complaining about it. You know what? He's in the legislature. He's doing something. That's more than most of the people I know are doing. And it goes back to what I've said forever. It's about the people making the decision. That's what it's all about. So when you sit on your fat asses and you don't do a damn thing and you wait for somebody else to do it, Rashim is there to volunteer. And all the other losers up in the Republican Party that have run the party into the ground, those are the people right now that are laughing their asses off at you. You guys are jokes. And you know what? Sorry, they're right. I'm hard on the people on my side because I don't want this. And I guarantee, by the way, they have people like me on the other side. You want this? Do something. And guess what? They do something. That's the difference between doers and non-doers. That's the huge difference. By the way, Rashim, I give a lot of credit to. He is actually making decisions. But he's the wrong guy. Yeah, in your world, but he's not, obviously he's not wrong enough for you to do something. You know, what's the percentage of Republicans that show up at a primary? What's the percentage? Not very high, is it? And they love it that you don't do anything. They love it. They love it. It just, for me, it just blows me away that we continue to allow this to happen. And until we change it, that's it. You know, Rashid, you know, they're in session today. And I'm sure, you know, this nutcase on the air right now, who gives a damn? And you know what else they make fun of me? I really don't care. One person who believes is worth more than 100 are merely interested. You're right. And their interest is very low level. But like I said, you know, like if you don't do your part, they will. There's always a corrupt one there to do their part, or someone that you strongly disagree with. That's the problem we have. Oh, now you're playing. You can come on my show anytime. But you're not telling me you weren't laughing at me. Of course you were. I was laughing once on TV. Come on. No, I am who I am, Rasheem. I give a damn. You know what? And that's what you and I have in common. We totally disagree, but I give you credit because you're doing something. And to me, that's what it's all about. It's about doing something. It's not about sitting on your happy ass doing nothing. And you know I'm right. And you also know that you don't want more people on my side to be involved, and it's working. So, that my friends, that's the whole point. We allow the people we disagree with, strongly disagree with, we allow them to win. Congratulations. Rasheem, you did a great job. You won. You know what? And this is where I do, and I've always done this, Rasheem. I always give people credit, whether I agree with them or not, for getting off their dead asses and doing something. That part I commend you for. And I would shake your hand and say, way to go. And I promised not to put my hands right in your throat. But because I respect that part of people. I don't agree. We don't have to agree. That's fine. But, as you can tell, I get on my side's ass more than anybody out there. Because I want us to beat you. Here we are. We have so many people that can play the game. I'll go back to my sports analogy. And the losers are the ones that come up. The ones that let's start with basketball. The losers are the ones that don't know how to hit a free throw. They don't know how to shoot. They don't know how to rebound. They don't have to do anything. They go, but hey, I'd like to play. That's what we get in the election. You look on there a lot of time. Not all the time. But we get these people. I give them credit for being on the ballot, but I really don't give them. It's like this is what we get. The voters. I mean, look. I'm sorry. When a 21, 22-year-old says I want to run for state rep, if they live with mom, they may be good people. They have no experience, no real life experience. And the chances of them being successful with that experience is really pretty damn slim. And so we have adults our age asking them what you're going to do for, what makes you think you're qualified. And they go, because I care about our country. Typical answers, that's what you say. And you go, oh, they care. There's a lot of people who care. Rasheem cares. I don't like the way he cares. We disagree. And by the way, I do have respectful conversations with everybody, as long as they're being respectful and they don't come on the show and try to monologue it. If they get on there and they don't want to do a back and forth, that's fine. But I am respectful to anybody, to everybody. But it's earned both ways. Because I don't believe it in being a hard ass. If somebody's nice enough to call in, I'm nice enough to answer as long as they're not a jerk. Yesterday, for some of you people, we had, I was really unhappy with this caller because of the fact he called in, and me being a former cop, it's kind of funny. He was like, you being a former cop, you should know that if the law says you wear a mask, I said, I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. It's unhealthy for me. Then you don't care about it. And he says, I don't think you're a police officer. And if you didn't hear this yesterday, this is what he said. And this is why I knew he's full of crap. He's trying to tell me he was a cop. But as soon as he said, how many confirmed kills have you had? I knew he's full of crap. Because I was like, confirmed kills? Are you serious? Get out of here. Don't be such a loser. I've never heard that before, and any self-respecting cop would never say that. And if this guy was saying it, then he's a loser. But he wasn't a cop. There's no way the guy was a cop. He was on there faking it. Trying to make police look bad. And that's a problem we got. We have too many people in charge making police look bad, but there's a few bad apples and that's it. You saw that clown. Oh, did you hear the phone call, Jason? It was really, which clown are you talking about? There's a lot of them out there. Jason is my friend from, I think you're in Texas now, right? He's Paul's brother, and good guy. Exactly. I know. As a retired chief, I would fire. Exactly. The only ones I know that ever say that would be a sniper, maybe, or something like that, or maybe in some of the military. But a cop wouldn't do that. That's bull. You know, and when I heard that, I was like, what a crock of crap that is. I do preach. I do preach because I get sick of it. You know, Rick, you know what I'm going through here. And I give Rick a lot of credit. He tries in his own way. But we have to do something. We just cannot continue to do the same way. And it's so funny. Oh, you're in New Mexico now. Oh, that's a rather liberal place for you to be right now. Hey, how do they feel, Jason, about this president that said, hey, we're going to stop everything? No, I didn't mean in LA. I'm talking about the military. No, I'm talking about the military. I had, when I heard that, Jason, I gotta be honest with you. It made me sick to my stomach that this guy actually said this and tried to, you know, and I know what it was when he said it. I was like, get away from me. You know, how many confirmed kills do you have? You know what? I'd start with his ass, that's for sure. Oops, I better not say that because Facebook gonna say I'm being violent. You know, I don't shoot anybody, not unless they're evil. That's my favorite one. Oh, you're moving to Arizona? Well, you were in Texas. What? Well, whatever. Are you still doing your show? I live in the south of the state, and we are mostly conservative. But you know what? Doesn't it suck though to be in a state? Now you're going to Arizona. Are you gonna join Jeff Flake? And I have a question to ask you too, Jason. Did you jump on the Trump train before your brother did? Because I know your brother didn't for a while, and he finally got it. And I think he likes him now, but it took him a little time to get there, and that's okay. I don't care about that. Well, you know, isn't that funny how the most populated parts of almost all states are liberal? Yes, because if you go to the cities and you go to the most populated areas, generally those are the liberal areas, and those are the ones that say you have all the kids you want. You were never in Texas. I thought you were. I'm sorry. But if you, I thought you were. I don't know why. But anyway, but if you're in the population, that's where the liberals are. That's where they go, have all the kids you want. We'll make sure we send you money. That's just how it works. By the way, your family. I figured you did. Yeah, because I remember talking to your brother, and I'm like, what the hell's taking you? And he finally got it. I think once he met President Trump, I think that did it for him because he found out that he wasn't the guy the media pointed him out to be. But you know what? I didn't have as much trouble with that. The people I had the most trouble with, Carl, you're a pain in the ass. I already told you. It's not going to be on, DLive is not going to have it on. It's not recording to it. I don't know why. It's not streaming to it. It'll be on next time. I'll get it fixed. But I can't do anything about it while the show's going on. So, you know, just watch it on Facebook. That's what you've been doing anyway. What am I going to do with this guy? Anyway, well, I'll get back to the show here. But Jason, you also do this too, so he understands. But let me ask you a question, Jason, since you're there. Do you get frustrated with the do-nothing Republicans who sit back and do nothing? I mean, that's the best way to put it. Who get mad and they go back and forth and they say, I'm mad, but they don't do a thing. And also, let me ask you go a step farther with this. If a lot of the people helped, this wouldn't even be close, would it? We could take our country back in no time. We really could. But I'm betting you 98%, 99% of Republicans are spectators. They don't do a thing. And if you're one of them, you should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. And don't for me, I'm gonna define what I think. I like to define words, as you know. I don't like political welfare, because that's what most Republicans are. They're welfare. They're welfare. They're political welfare people. I just don't. All right, let's see who we got here. All right, we got a call here. All right, you're on the Super Dave Show. Who do we have here? Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You got to turn down the background now.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I should know better than that.
That's right. 'Cause I got a big mouth.
Jason.
Oh, Jason. Hi, Jason. Yes!
Yeah, that's why I should know better.
You should know better than anybody. All right, my friends, just so I can introduce, Jason is a friend of mine. We actually haven't met that many times, but we both kind of do the same thing. And also, he is the brother. A lot of people in Missouri know him. He's a brother of Paul Kurtman. And your family's tremendous. I love your family. Your dad's awesome. He showed up. By the way, did your dad climb the wall on January 6th when he went up to D.C.?
No, he did not. From what I understand, he started walking in that direction. And I'm not for sure what happened, but he decided that was not a good idea.
But you and I both know that what they describe, what the Democrats described that happened, the media described, is not anything what happened. But that's what they described.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. My dad was at the speech and he heard everything Trump said. My dad said there was absolutely nothing that could be converted or twisted into something that Trump supported. What happened?
Because your dad's an honorable guy, and and I know your family, your whole family's like this. You would never. I mean, if he said something, your dad would probably say, "Yeah, he probably no, he did." I was there, as you know. I didn't hear a damn word, nothing. So anyway, well, what do you think? Okay, I am probably the hardest person on Republicans on the planet. Do you think I'm too hard, or do you think I'm right?
No, actually, I've seen this coming for a long time. That I think there's going to be there already is a split in the Republican Party. Is it a bad thing or a good thing? I think that's yet to be determined. We definitely don't want to split the votes like we've had before in the past, and then they're automatically the elections are turned over to the Democratic Party. We don't want to do that. If we're going to do this, we need to do it right. We need to bring people on board. We need to be the majority party.
That's why, and just so you know, that's why I started with Republicans, because as you know, you're familiar with the voting process. If you start a third party, it's almost impossible to win anything. So this way, we are Republicans. I mean, I think they abandoned us. We didn't abandon them. So we keep the party, but we call real Republicans. We could still go in and register. I mean, do whatever we got to do as a real Republican.
Right. Yep. It's really amazing what's going on right now. This whole thing, the impeachment of it's so redundant. It's so ridiculous. It's a waste of money. Somebody pointed out, I think it was Ted Cruz, I'm not sure, that if we can do this now, then let's go back and impeach Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
And it does set precedent for that. It's stupid. One-term presidents very rarely ever run again. I think it's happened one time in history. But I don't see any point to it. It's just a waste of money. It's hateful, vindictive. Somebody posted something this morning that said if you really won by the majority of the vote, why would you have to impeach the president unless you didn't win and you're just trying to silence him?
Well, you and I both know. You and I both know, though, there was no voter fraud, right? I mean, that's what we're supposed to believe every day.
Sure, why not? I'll go with that, right?
Yeah, I've never, and the inciting violence blows me away because it's like, well, they incited, Trump incited violence, and the people have become so, I use more accurate word, stupid, that they actually look at what Maxine Waters did and Kamala Harris, all the rest of them, and say they're going to keep going, they're going to keep attacking, that's not inciting violence. But when Trump said we need to let them know, all of a sudden, and I don't know if you saw, I talked about it earlier, remember in Texas, where they were ushering Biden's bus out. They weren't doing to his bus, and they made a big deal. They're using that as part of the evidence.
Yeah, and what Maxine Waters said, and probably, if you need a Trump supporter, you need to do this, you need to do this, push them, and that incited more violence in 3 minutes than Trump did in 4 years, or any real Trump supporter. I would put it that way. Any real Trump supporter, anybody that's condoning violence or pushing that, is not a real Trump supporter. Not at this stage in the game.
Well, and I believe that on the January 6th, because I don't play defense on this stuff, on January 6th, were there people, Trump supporters, that got involved? Yeah. Were they the ones destroying things? We don't know. We also know Antifa did a lot of that, and I think Antifa went there, drew them in, and then, but I don't think the Trump supporters, that's not who we are. We've had, 300, 400 rallies, whatever it is, and now one incident of violence, and then all of a sudden this happens, and they won't even go to the point that we have the evidence showing that Antifa was there doing most of this stuff. They don't even talk about that. All they do is talk about Trump supporters, and every single one of us ought to be so upset by that we're willing to do something, and that's what I try to do.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I had turn your volume up because they said the volume was too low.
Oh.
No, I turned my volume up. You know how it is. You have a mixer there too, don't you, when you do yours?
No, actually, I'm just calling on my cell phone right now.
No.
But yeah, I'm not in my studio. I'm actually in my work office right now.
Okay.
Which is quite amazing. I'm a recruiter for a Fortune 500 company out of California, and I recruit people. I've been doing this before the pandemic hit to work at home. So you can imagine that when the pandemic hit, people started getting laid off. My business quadrupled about 6 times.
And you even got a stimulus check, didn't you?
I did. Sitting in the bank still.
Well, we have a group called Real Republicans. You're more than welcome to join. You're more than welcome to give us your money, because now the reason I had your brother on, and we were talking about this, and he agreed with me on something. He says, Dave, if you can manage it, it's brilliant. And that is that if people get involved, there's something about putting your money where your mouth is. If you get involved, you're more apt to do more. You're more apt to feel like you're part of it. And he said the problem that he has is so many people like him, because your brother worked harder than anybody I know to get individual donation, contributions. I don't like the word donation. Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, he is, and he did that. But that's really unusual. And to be fair, it's not really fair to him to do that, to work that hard at getting that, and when he could spend his time doing other things. But he did that to get elected, and I've always looked at your brother for that as kudos, because I met him during the Tea Party days. So
Yeah. You remember the last time you and I met? I do.
Where was it? I don't remember.
Paul's wedding.
Oh, Paul's wedding. You're right. Paul's wedding.
Yeah.
That was 4 kids ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
His
kids are amazing too. I'll tell you that.
Well, your brother's amazing. Your whole family's amazing. I've always admired you and so many others. And for you people that may be getting bored with this conversation, don't, because it's so good to have. Your dad is probably, was he in his 70s probably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mid-70s.
His dad we got on the bus, and I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't want to get on the bus. We drove there, but got on the bus, and he says, I want to go. And he talked to your son, and your son said, hey, not your son, to his son, talked to Paul, and Paul, Paul said, hey, can you get him on? And we did. But I was amazed because he says, I want to be there. When I had the rally up in Jefferson City, your dad was there. Your dad is not just a guy standing by. He's there. He's one to help in every way he can. Your whole family. I'm serious, Jason. I admire your family so much. I'm jealous of it. So.
Well, my dad speaks at a lot of rallies, and whenever he's invited radio shows, he's not as prolific as Paul is, because Paul's the one that got his name out there. But my dad's really amazing. He's got a lot of energy for a man his age. He's very, very athletic. I won't go into all this. He's into sports and kayaking and different things. So he has an energy to do a lot of things that, honestly, I'm almost 51 years old. Sometimes I wish I had half the energy my dad has.
Yeah.
To do the things that he does.
Well, and I can relate because my energy isn't what it used to be. I use a lot of my energy on the show and stuff, and
Sure.
And in fact, you're here. People don't understand that when you do 2 hours, 3 hours of this stuff, when you walk away, it takes a lot out of you. If you're doing the show right, if you're just going through the motions, that's one thing. But if you're really in there doing the show right, it does drag you down a little bit. You have to take a break, and I mean, I don't every time, but you have to take a break, and it does bring you down. You get tired, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I do 1 hour. Well, actually, I do a couple of radio shows. They're different formats, and the one that I do with my old college roommate is called the Biscuits and Gravy Show, and we touch on politics. Sometimes we touch on it heavy, but it's not all politics. Sometimes it's just a little bit of lighthearted current events and jokes and whatnot. But there are times when we will cover a whole hour of current events and politics and commentary. And I noticed that on those shows, you get more passionately involved. The mind just goes 100 miles an hour during that rhetoric.
Yep.
And it's amazing because you get off and you're like, wow, the adrenaline is pumped up. I used to do this in the evenings, late evenings, and I found out that I couldn't do it late evenings because when I get off, I was so wound up, I couldn't sleep.
You know what? I do it in the morning on purpose because...
For that reason?
No, because the evenings are mine. I always, the evenings, I still go to meetings and stuff, but the evenings are mine. That's why I call them, because I do like to have my glass of honey bourbon or something like that sometimes, not to get drunk, because I am a hyper individual. People that know me know that, but I'm hyper, and I know I am, so I have to do certain things to calm my tail down. But I have one more question to ask you. What do you think? What do you think of the people who are just hesitating, who don't want to do anything? Does that frustrate you as much? Probably not as much as it does me, but does that frustrate you?
I could go on and on. I'll tell you where I really get frustrated with that. And my dad has experienced this too. My dad, of course, is a pastor and evangelist.
Yes.
He's no longer pastoring a church. He's into full-time evangelism.
Right.
But he has talked to preachers all over this country about getting involved. And a lot of the pastors are, well, that's not our job. Well, there is a principle in the Bible about stewardship. Taking care of what God has given you.
Yes.
Making your talents multiply.
Yes.
And when preachers say, well, we as Christians, we shouldn't get involved, that is totally going completely opposite of that principle. And there's a lot, and I will say this, there's a lot of pastors that are coming to realize, especially through this COVID pandemic, in California, when the churches are shut down and pastors are arrested and ticketed and fined, then they're starting to realize, how did we get this far? Well, we got this far because you let it happen.
Bingo!
Yeah, that's why we got this far, because you didn't stand up in the pulpit and not only preach about the cross, the blood, salvation, but the principles of Christian living, which includes stewardship, which include, now Romans 13 says, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. And that's talking about paying taxes, but it's not talking about our rights. The government doesn't own our rights. Their job is to protect our rights, and that's it. So we should not give our rights unto Caesar because Caesar doesn't own them. And I think a lot of pastors and preachers and Christians are starting to realize they're waking up and opening their eyes and saying, what in the world is going on? Well, they wouldn't. If they'd have done this several years back, maybe, just maybe, we wouldn't be in the predicament across this country that we're in today.
And they'll do it a lot nicer than I'll do it.
I'm going to say this as tactfully as I can. I won't argue with that.
Look, I realize, but you know what? I have done my share to be nice. I have done mine
Sure.
and say we need to do this and this. And honestly, it wasn't working. And I'm going to let my full self come through, my frustration come through, and that's it. By the way, a minute ago, I don't know if you saw, there was a gentleman, he's a Democrat state rep, and he was on there, and
Yeah.
he started with a laugh thing.
Part of that.
Yeah, okay, well, and I don't know if you heard it later, I did say, I respect him. I really respect him for one main reason. He's doing something. He's not just standing on the side, watching and doing nothing. He actually got off his butt and he's actually doing something. I may disagree with him, but I respect him for that. And that's the one thing every person listening to the show right now has to understand. If you got someone, you may not like what they're doing, but they're there. They're doing something, and because of the fact that you're not, is why they're winning.
I have mixed feelings about that, and it all centers around the sanctity of life. I have a hard time respecting anybody that sides with the party that goes completely against that. Some people, people go to Germany and they drive on the Autobahn and they talk about how great it is. It's a great transportation. It's a great highway. You got to respect whoever helped design, engineer, and put that into play. But what a lot of people don't know is that most of that was Adolf Hitler.
Right.
I don't respect Adolf Hitler for anything.
Well,
period.
I'm talking about the fact. I'm not talking about who they are as individuals. I'm talking about I respect the fact that they did something, and that if there's anything,
I
look,
wouldn't argue with that.
okay, if there's anything we need to learn, is we need to learn about our enemy, what they're doing right,
That's true.
and if we don't learn, if they're doing things better than we're doing it, then we need to learn from that. I learn from everybody. I learn from people I don't like a lot because they're successful. It's not that I want to do it their way, but I do learn how they're successful. And that's where I stop, because I remember people say, oh, Oprah Winfrey's so wonderful and that stuff. I admired her success. I didn't admire her thought process, and that's why I'm saying. So yeah, that's a difference, and that's the reason why I admire the fact he did something. I just wish it wasn't, and I'm with you on the party thing, because how anybody can side with a party that would kill babies. It kill babies, but tell you put a mask on because you're going to hurt someone, just destroys me. By the way, I bet your dad doesn't put a mask on, does he?
I couldn't tell you. I know, like me, the same thing. I don't, except here in New Mexico, things are a little different. I'm sure you know. We have a very, our governor here watches the governor in Michigan to see what she can get away with and then duplicate.
Yeah.
If that tells you anything. But I don't wear a mask unless, I got to put grocery food on the table.
Right.
I have to. So when I go into a grocery store to do that, if they say, well, you can't come in without a mask, well, I'm wearing a mask. Because they have a right to.
No.
Private property store, they have a right to tell me that.
I agree with you.
So, yeah. So that's where I'm at on it.
No, but you do it because you got to feed your family, and you got you got to walk. I get that, and it is the store's right. Now, if all your stores in your area say you have to wear, you don't have a choice because you still have to survive. But in my case, when I walk in, I don't say anything. I just walk through. If they say something, I let them chase me down, which has never happened. And they let me walk through, and that's it. I'm dead serious. I walk in, and I've been to Sam's, and they go, "Here, you need a mask." I go, "I'm fine." I just walk straight on through. They never do anything. They never do. And
Here it's a little bit different. The governor has got for a while. The state police was standing outside of Walmart, ensuring that everybody that walked in had a mask.
As an ex-police officer myself, I know you were. I would have to look at my commander and say, "I'm sorry, sir. Give that duty to somebody else. I can't do that."
Well, you and I came from a different generation of law enforcement too, and I think we would have, whereas you and I and our colleagues would have taken that road. I think a lot of these young people are getting into the academy, and they're taught chain of command and obedience, which is a good thing to a certain point. But there's no question to authority on certain things in a lot of law enforcement ranks, more so than there was before. Under our our generation.
But as I would say, as I would tell people, is like, you know, the Constitution comes first and then obeying orders. And I think you would agree. But these days, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
People, they go into military. In fact, I think a lot of the cities, especially where I call them political police departments, they're the ones that love to hire the military that will do everything they're told. And that's the issue I have with that.
You know, I won't say name the city, but when I first got into law enforcement, I worked for a county sheriff's department, and I got to be friends with one of the chief of police, you know, in a neighboring town, which was a pretty good-sized town for the area. And he told me that when he took applications in for police officers, he always put the military ones at the bottom of the pile. And I asked him why. He says, it's not that I don't respect them, don't love them, but they have a different way of dealing with the public.
Bingo. You're right.
And I get that because the military police officer does not have to take gruff from, you know, a private, corporal, or whatever, anybody on their base. They don't have to take it. They will slam you down. And because it's a different set of expectations and rules when you're in the military. And he said a lot of them come into civilian law enforcement and they still have that mindset, and it takes a lot of work to reverse that. So
yeah, because
just a thought on that.
you know, now I want to add to that one of the problems I had, and I have good friends with sheriff and stuff, and I said one of the things that they need to be teaching at the police academy is the first thing you do is don't go in there accusing people things. It's like when you get pulled over for speeding. You know, if you start going out, you say, "I caught you speeding," you've just heightened it. But if you go in there and go, "All right, where's the fire? Where are you going?" If you do a totally different attitude, you come up with a different conversation. And I see so many police officers when I get pulled over. You know, I have a heavy foot. When I get pulled over, they're pretty cool about it. You know, they know it. They usually laugh at me. Well, you know, it's kind of funny because I get pulled over but I don't start out like, "What'd you stop me for?" It's like, "Yeah, I know," because I actually do it myself, and I go, "Yeah, that's that ex-cop of me. I got a heavy foot." They'll kind of laugh, and I go, "I need to slow down." That's it. But people go in there, but it's always the police officer's job to start out with to lower it. You know, just lower it. Don't go in there accusing. You know, you just don't do that, and it's a whole lot easier. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I used to tell my officers, the best weapon you have is not on your belt, it's between your ears.
Yes, because in fact, I want to do a little police talk here just for a second here. I had a situation one time where we went to someone's house, with my partner, I went to someone's house, and we had a warrant out for him. We walked, we saw him, and the guy looked at us, he says, "I could run." I said, "I'd just shoot you." I was just kidding. He knew it.
Right.
And so he said, "You know, you're a cool cop." He said, "I got to get this taken care of." At the same point, he had a brother on the porch, and the brother said, "You know what? You guys are cool. I got a warrant out for me too. Let's get it over with. We'll go in together." That's.
I love it. I love it. I always, you know, in arresting drunks, you probably can relate to this. The men that we arrested that were drunks, whether they be in domestic, bar fights, drunk drivers, when they were bailing out, they'd always want to shake your hand and, you know, "I would have liked to have met you. We could have gone fishing, you know, some other way." That's how it always ended with the men. But with the women, they wanted to scratch your face every time. That was my experience. Not all the time, but most of the time.
Well, I worked in the city, and we didn't have hardly any of those as far as like drunk driving. In fact, we rarely did anything with them back then. I was back in the 80s. We did that. Oh yeah, we didn't do much.
I arrested 5 drunk drivers in one night, one time. Another night I arrested 2, and they were the same driver. The bail bondsman dropped him off at his car.
What the hell's wrong with that? Because when we used to pull people over, guys, hope we're not boring you here, but when we used to pull people over, honestly, we'd say, we'd take the keys out, and we'd say, "We're going to give you a ride home, but if that car's gone, we're coming to get you." And so leave the key, you know, don't do it. You know. And that they did, and they come back the next day. And that's how they should do it.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Well, because a lot of times we figure they were having issues as they were. You know, you're fighting with the wife or something like that, whatever, and you know, you don't know what's going on. They've got enough issues, and as long as they're not being jerks. Once they turn to a jerk, it's over. That was it.
Yeah.
So, well, buddy,
It did amaze me.
go ahead. No,
It
go
amazed
ahead.
me
Yeah.
how much law enforcement supported Trump over the last year.
Yeah, and everybody, I know people know that, and that's why I just want to get one more comment out of you if I can. Tell the people why, in your words, they need to get involved with their money and their time. I mean, you tell them in the way you want, because they've heard my way, and I know people are getting tired of it. By the way, a lot of people that listen to my show, they're like, "Yeah, go, Dave, go." They love that I give people crap. But you're not like me, thank God for that. There's at least there's good people out there. Tell them what you think.
Well, I'll tell you why I do it. It's for the sake of my son and my future grandchildren. I look at what's at stake in the big picture. Some people look at, okay, Biden got in. Well, we got through 8 years of Obama. We can get through 4 years of Biden. Or, as I like to say, maybe possibly 1 year of Biden, 3 years of Harris. I would shudder at that thought.
Oh, that's scary.
But you can't. That's looking at the small picture. Yeah, we can get through 4 years of Biden, but can we get through the consequences, the long-term big picture? I don't think we can. I really, really don't. Things are going to change so drastically, and they're going to be so irreversible if we don't act now. We've got to act now. I just tell you, for a long time here, I attended. We had two different, I won't say parties, but two different groups here in Otero County. Well, we had three. We had the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and the Conservatives of New Mexico, and they all hold their monthly meeting. And I started going to the Conservative ones because as much as I like the Republican Party, I identify more with the group that calls them conservatives more than I identify with the group that calls them Republicans. That's my personal preference.
But they still have to run as Republicans, don't they?
They do, but they let you know I'm more conservative than my fellow Republicans.
Right.
And I admire them for that. They're setting themselves up a little bit of more of a distinction. Like my brother used to say, it's principles, not politics.
Yes.
And that's exactly right. This is why we've got to all get active, because it's the principles that are at stake, not the reputation, not the future of our parties. It's the principles that are at stake. The principles that run not only our government, but our family, our churches, our culture, our society. All the principles that affect all of those are what's at stake. I never thought in a million years we'd see bread lines, and I'm using that as a generic term, like they had in the Soviet Union during the 80s. But I saw it here in New Mexico. People standing in line to purchase groceries because of government regulations that said no more than 50 in a store at a time.
It's
in a huge store. And here's the ironic, stupid thing about that. They had 250 people lined up outside the store. You go in the store and they have social distancing 6 feet apart. But when these people were lined up outside the store,
right next to each other.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Yes, exactly. And that's why you and I both know.
This is about mind control.
Right, exactly. You and I both know it's not about safety, it's about mind control. But how many people, I mean, look, let's be honest about it. Well, okay, like I'm a Jefferson mask order, which is like nothing. It's not a mandate, it's an order. It's right. Bull. We've at least kept it down to that. But still, when I go somewhere, I don't wear a mask. When I go somewhere, probably 98% of the people walking around me in certain parts of the county here wear a mask. That's serious. So, and I tell Republicans, if you don't have to wear one, don't, because it's not protecting you. It's actually, it's identifying you as a compliant person, and that's how I feel about it.
Did you notice when they started, when the pandemic came out? I remember walking into Walgreens, picking up an over-the-counter old medicine, and seeing a woman. This is the first time I've ever saw it. A woman and her child both wearing a mask.
Yes.
And I thought, my goodness, these people are scared to death of nothing.
Yes.
Now, at the time, I didn't understand COVID and the big picture of it. But still, it was like, oh my goodness, you won't ever catch me wearing a mask. And then, a month later, you go into the same store. it's about 25% of the people in the store wearing it. About a month later, 50%.
Right.
And now you go into the store, it's 99.9%.
Yeah.
Even the workers don't even wear the mask right. They have it hanging down on their chin.
Yeah. But they have it there for compliancy purposes. And that's, but you know what? If people stood up against this, because if you notice, after Biden was sworn in, all of a sudden, the Democrats are demanding the schools be open again. They're demanding all this stuff that before wasn't possible. And, we have so many naive Americans, I'm not going to say stupid, it is. But anyway, naive Americans, that they actually fell for this, and they go, well, it is time we open it up. It's like, what, because he was sworn in? That was it?
No, because Trump's finally out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why it's time to open up. We got Trump out. Things don't have to be as bad as they were, because now Trump's gone.
All right, one more question, I get out of here, because I'm almost done anyway. I have to ask you this. So what do you heard the deal that something may happen? How do you look at that stuff? With the military, I'm sure you've heard some of those things. What do you think of that stuff?
Oh, goodness. I don't really think anything about it. I have a friend that called me up. She's a military spouse. Well, the things are going to happen. It's going to be this date. Well, the dates that she told me are past.
Yes.
And honest, I don't discredit her for what she told me. Here's the thing. So many rumors and falsehoods fly across the internet, fly across the Facebook, and unfortunately, I'd have to say that 50% of them are from our camp.
Yep.
Just as much as they are from the other. I fact check everything.
Yep.
Everything. If it looks interesting and I want to post it, I fact check it. Now, people say, well, you can't go by Snopes. No, you can.
No.
There's other sources out there too. If you want to be a credible Republican, and you want to post something, social media is great. It's one of the best roads that we have, the best avenues that we have to get a message out there. But if you want to be credible at all, you have to be credible 100% of the time.
Yep.
Fact check everything. And if you do make a mistake, come back on and say, look, I usually fact check things. I did fact check this, but I didn't fact check it far enough. I was wrong, and I apologize.
I've done that before myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
In fact, one time I did this on purpose. I put something out on purpose, and it was that some truck ran over a bunch of people, rioters, the protesters, and on that, I said, make sure you fact check this, and because this is bull. And people, instead of even reading what I put on there, went ahead and sent it off and give me grief later on. It's like, you put it out there. It's like, I did this so you would stop just taking something, putting out there. And they thought I was being mean for putting out there. Like, no, I wasn't being mean. I was trying to wake you up. Just don't grab something from the internet and say, well, I saw this, it must be true. In fact, I saw one yesterday or day before. In fact, Sherry put it up there. It was about Biden just did 2,700 pardons for BLM protesters. And
I read that. Did you fact check that? Is there anything to that?
There's nothing. No, I didn't see anything to it. I didn't see it. But, I understand. And you know what? The thing that makes it so believable is for him to do it. I mean, I've never seen anybody write so many EOs in my life. Ever.
Yeah.
So, well, buddy, hey, thanks for calling in. You have to do it again sometime. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. Great show. I've enjoyed being on. Thank you so much. And maybe I'll have you on our show sometime.
You know how to get a hold of me.
Can I plug that real quick?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
OurFantasticWebsites.com.
What?
I love that.
What?
OurFantasticWebsites.com.
Our fantastic website. Okay, that's good. I like that.
.com.
Yeah. By the way, do you like the name of the group?
On the back of the car, people look it up just to see what in the world that is.
Right. Do you like the name of our group, Real Republicans?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to look that up too.
Please do.
You got a website?
RealRepublicans.net.
Okay. Going to go there now.
Thanks
for having me on. I appreciate it, Dave.
Okay, buddy. All right, take care. All right. Okay, that's my good friend from earlier life. And I shouldn't say much. I've only met him a couple times, but we've talked several times. His brother is Paul Kurtman. Some of you people know him quite well. Paul Kurtman is probably, let me fix this real quick. Paul Kurtman is probably one of the best we've ever had, as far as state representatives go. And it's exactly why I tell people that's why we don't need term limits. We have them. Let's do it ourselves. Why are we wanting government to do it for us? That's our problem. Well, there's so many other stupid people, whatever. But how smart are we in get rid of Paul Kurtman and get rid of a Justin Hill, some of the very good people that have come out and done the right thing. Got rid of the bad ones. Well, it gets rid of the good ones too. But you're asking people to do the job that you should be doing, and that's the problem we have. So, I should have asked Jason that too. It doesn't matter. I can spend all day talking to him. He's a good guy. So, anyway. All right, my friends, I will get D-Live fixed up. Carl, you got that. I'll get all it fixed up because there's a lot of people listening on other venues. I hope I didn't bore you with our conversation with Jason, but if it did, too bad. But, we have different ways of doing things, and I know he kind of like, Dave, you're being a little hard here, but, we have our techniques and it works, and the hardest part by far are the people that are not going to RealRepublicans.net. I get to see who they are. And some people think they're sneaking by. It's like, well, I'm not. No, you're not sneaking by. Because if you really and truly mean what you say, then put your money where your mouth is. It's not for me. It's for the cause. It's not. The best part is, unlike the established Republican Party that says, thank you very much, we're going to totally ignore what you're saying. That's not what we do. The Republican Party right now, the established Republican Party, let me clarify, the phony Republican Party, the phonies in the Republican Party couldn't give a damn what you think. They don't care. Don't even go there. And so, do it with a group that they do care. They do care. So, all right, my friends, I promise I'll fix D-Live. I'll get all squared away. We'll get there. But, and just so people know, one more thing. I am going to Perryville tomorrow and see my friend Keith and the fine people in Perry County who have invited me to speak. A week from Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. This Sunday is Valentine's Day. The following Sunday at 1 o'clock, we're going to be at the VFW again. Don't just show up by yourself. Be there with friends. Friends that say, you know what, you gotta hear this. You gotta be part of this, because I'm going to be on another planet right now, because I want everybody to be. I want everybody to feel important. I want everybody to know that if they were to decide to stand up and say, I want to run, that we're there with them. That's what we have to do. We really have to do that. They are not called Trump supporters, but white supremacists or loyalists. Well, that's what we are. We are all white supremacists. I mean, you know what? When you sit back and let it happen, I don't care. You better start caring. Because first of all, why should you start caring? I'll go through my little spiel. We are allowing teachers in our schools from grade school and up to teach your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren. They're doing that. They're teaching your kids that you and I are white supremacists. I'm sorry. When you teach children that, guess what they do? They believe it, because they believe what they're told. And they have your kids all day long. And you're allowing these liberals to run them. School boards come up and you're just saying, well, somebody else will do it. And somebody else is doing it. Friends of Rashim are doing it. That's just it. I mean, honestly, that's why we can't do it. So it starts there and it continues. The media, you can go on and on, it just, and don't look, first of all, let me tell you right now, I don't want a biased media. I hear people on news, that say, well, Newsmax, they did this. I'm not watching them anymore. I don't care if they have the other voices there. This is media. Let's not act like the liberals on the left. If they have somebody that's an idiot, it's about being unprofessional. When I showed you the one where Mike Lindell came on, and one of the hosts on Newsmax came on, and he was very unprofessional. He shouldn't be fired because he didn't agree with it. He should be fired or something because of the fact that he didn't do his job. You know, I don't like what people do. I get if I get an opposing view, as long as they're decent, we'll talk. But don't over talk me. And what if you notice when I was talking to Jason, we both took time and talked. We didn't over talk each other. We know how that is because we talk to people. That's what you do as a professional. But when you get people there, and a lot of politicians do this. They like to take over. They like to dominate the conversation. They don't want to get a word in edgewise, and that's what you can't do. And that's the professional part of it. So don't go to Newsmax and get mad because you got an idiot on there. Get mad because of the fact of how he conducted himself, not because he agreed. That's what journalism is supposed to be about. And for some of you people out there, it's like, well, he did this, I'm not going to watch it. I don't care if they have opposing views. I really don't care. But I don't want it to be where they're total, if it's, and here's something else too. If it's an opinion show, as Tucker is an opinion show, it is. Laurie Ingram's opinion, Sean Hannity's opinion, they're opinion shows. Now, they give you a lot of the facts, and it's great, but it's their opinion on the facts. That's what this is. This is an opinion show. I try to be honest with the facts. Same thing with the media. But when you get the leftists, and they're supposed to be journalists, they're supposed to be news, and they're giving you one side or a slanted view, whatever, that, my friends, is bad news. That, my friends, is really bad news. That's not journalism. Those are the ones that you don't want. But don't get mad at Newsmax and OAN and the rest of them because whatever. Just give the news. And if they do have opinion shows, let them have their opinions. Just be professional. That's all I ask anybody. All right, my friends, I am gone. I will be back. I'll probably be back. I may be back. You know what? I may do a special show depending on what happens with the Trump silliness. With the impeachment crap. That starts today. So I will be watching some of it, and I may come back and do a show or two in the meantime. So anyway, well, thanks so much for listening, and I will see you soon.
You can't quit. And why not? I get fired. You can't fire him. Why not? He quit.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
It ain't over now. Because when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Who's with me? Let's go! Come on! Ah! Thanks. I needed that.